Siyo, Halito. Peace.
Hey, what's going on, cuz? Tamo, what's going on with you, baby?
What's going on, cuz? Yeah,
We
happy
made
Gregorian New Year.
Happy Gregorian New Year's. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Peace to
Yeah.
everybody in the chat.
What's going on, everybody? In the chat, what's going on? What's going on? Hope y'all had a wonderful holiday season with your family. You know what I'm saying? Happy to see y'all made it for the Gregorian New Year's. Some people didn't make it over, but some people did. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully your people and them did. So we glad y'all here.
Yeah. So, one of the topics today is colorism and discrimination, and we ain't taking no shit. I exercise the fucking delete and block button. So if you were a observer, a standbyer, and you just came to see what this Southeastern talking stick be like, then you gonna find the fuck out. So
You're right.
y'all see, we posted our Gregorian New Year, our shorts, our videos, and some of the haters, they don't like it. They want to cry.
Yeah,
And
you can go grab some tissue and some and toilet paper and shit. Fuck them.
right. So they don't like to see this gorgeous melanin in regalia in front of an ancient mound, which we are descendants of the ancient mound builders. So we
Right,
can do that.
right.
So, really, at the end of the day, unity is the best medicine and the solution for our people.
Right.
I'm wondering, like, when are we gonna get to that point as a whole? I know our individual Indian communities, Negro Indian communities, for the most part, we good. It's it's our other relations that be tripping. How you
Mm-hmm.
feel about that, cuz?
Well, they think they have monopoly on who's indigenous and who's not. You know what I'm saying? And they'd be like, "Oh, take the DNA test. Take the D." You want people to do something that y'all haven't done. How, how,
Right.
how, how that shit work?
Exactly. Yeah, it just threatens them in some way that we know who we are. Like, how are you? That means you're not secure. If you are threatened because someone is taking pride in who they are, I don't understand that. I never understood like hate and shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's like some weak shit to me. But
Oh yeah, indeed it is. Very much indeed it is.
if you secure in who you are, you shouldn't give a fuck who got what in their genealogy, who got what bloodline. That wouldn't even be a topic of your discussion. You would just continue to be who you are. In I mean, that's the logical thing, but everybody ain't logical. Some people out here ignorant, just ignorant.
Mm-hmm. And there once we never asked your white daddy for a super welfare check.
Okay. Oh, Shona Bitch Chi, LaShonda. She said she loving our new look.
Oh yeah, yeah, hey, cousin Lashonda. Yeah, we didn't ask your great white daddy's spirit for his money, or anything. So that's another thing. Y'all should be glad.
And we don't need nobody's approval.
Right.
So, those in the chat, Have y'all experienced colorism and discrimination and racial injustice in the Indian community? Post your comment. We want to hear from you. Anybody got some discrimination stories?
And then you also can look at it, they probably from the nation that actually came over that were trying to fight the mound builders, you know?
So they still got that bad blood.
Yeah, yeah, they still hating on the mound builders.
Yeah, but it's like, how you gonna hate on original people? You came over here to our ancestors' land. How you gonna hate on the? I mean, of course, Earth, grandmother or Mother Earth doesn't belong to anyone. We are the stewards of Mother Earth, but it's like, how you gonna come to somebody else's land and then get mad because our ancestors are the original people of the land. I
Right,
don't get that. I'm looking
right.
at comment. Yeah, appreciate it. Hi, Nietzsche. Let me pull this up. All right, she said uh she hasn't experienced it in the Native American community, but experienced it at the airport.
Mm,
At the airport, was going through TSA showing her tribal ID card.
mm.
That's what Lashonda said. And Hi Niji said, I haven't experienced that racism and colorism personally, but I see it all the time. It has happened to me in YouTube comments, but not elsewhere.
It's deep on TikTok though.
Oh yeah, because I did post one of our shorts on TikTok. I had some comments. I exercised that harass. I had to click report. I'm reporting people. If you trying to do harassment and bullying on my page, it ain't gonna happen because I'm reporting your ass.
Mhm.
I'm only welcoming positive vibes only. That's what we on. Positive vibes only. If you with us, cool. If you ain't, stay the fuck away. Go mind your own business.
Cause I'm with that dumb shit this year.
Oh, I can get there when it's injustice. Oh, I'm all the way live. And don't nobody want me to get all the way live. So we just really came on here to say, you know, hello to everybody, peace to all our relations. Since we just had this Gregorian New Year and the holidays, we just wanted to touch base with everybody. And if anybody wants to join, I will post the link and invite y'all in. This will be a short podcast today, but I will share the link.
Because I know last year, somebody said they wanted to see certain people on our podcast, but nah, me personally, I don't deal with them people because I saw the information that they put on TikTok and it's misinformation. I don't deal with people that put out misinformation.
Well, one of them, I wouldn't mind, but we can discuss that off the air. But here's the link, y'all. So I did post the link. If anybody wants to come on in and join us.
And the reason why I said that, because I saw some of them talk about America is Egypt, and I don't rock like that.
Well, one of them, I don't believe he has ever said that, but um,
Yeah, I saw it on TikTok. Yes, yes, I seen it
uh,
on TikTok. Yeah, that's why I
what's
said what I said.
um TC. You don't gotta say the name, but yeah, we'll discuss it. I don't think I seen.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I said what I said, and I stand 10 toes and 10 fingers down on that shit. Yay!
You gotta if I gotta search for that because I ain't never heard him say that.
I did. And one thing about me, I ain't got a lot about motherfucking thing. When I said I heard it with my own eyes and shit, and plus I sent it, and plus I showed it to other people, and they were like, "Oh wow,
Yeah,
yay,
I want to.
that part."
I want to see it because I ain't seen it. That's why I said I want to see it.
So you can go ahead on and see it on TikTok. You'll see it. You'll be like, "Oh, okay, cousin pie, I see what you said." Yeah,
And love Nia Raspberry 4883 said in Weewaka, Oklahoma, the town chief John Horse found it in Oklahoma. Yes, we know all about Weewaka. So you have experienced racism and colorism there. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, they yeah, of course. Peace, Anthony. Of course they didn't even like, that sign. Yeah, when they did erect the sign that War Chief John Horse founded Weewaka, Oklahoma. So yeah, of course they don't like that, given, he's a Negro Indian, a dark-skinned Indian. So that's the okay. They were discriminating against that. Oh, they tried to tear down the sign. That's pure hatred for them to try to tear down the sign. Well, they tried to, because she said almost. And see, Great Spirit and the ancestors need to deal with them people that did that. They have such hatred in their heart that they don't want to see a dark skinned indigenous person get his props. Because he founded that. So yeah, he should be recognized and he should have respect. If y'all tuning in, if y'all don't know who Chief John Horse is, War Chief John Horse, look him up. He deserves respect because he's a warrior. Or is your thing muted? Oh,
no,
uh,
no.
yeah, I was just reading the comments. Yeah, they need to make a movie about his life. Yeah, they did a nice PBS special, and we did show it on here because we had his great niece on here, um, Denise Vasquez Welch. We had her on here 2 years ago, and we did show the excerpt of it on one of the podcasts, either the one with her or another podcast that we did. We did show that PBS special. That one was really good, and it was a Caucasian lady on there, and she was saying that John Horse and everything that the Seminoles went through should be in a movie. They should do a movie about John Horse, and they did a pretty good job too. Yep, it was really good too. Let me see. Anybody got any comments or questions in the chat? Yeah, but it needs to be like a motion picture, like how they just did Sarah's Oil. We did a podcast about that too, but they should have John Horse's movie, Chief John Horse, his movie in the theaters too for everybody to see.
That's gonna have to be independently shot if they was to do a movie on John Horse.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But I just wanted to be in the theaters like Sarah's Oil was. Oh yeah, this one right here. I ain't gonna play it, but this. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta. All right, I'm gonna show our disclaimer real quick because I want y'all to see like the beginning of this. Just when she says what I just said. Pull up this disclaimer. All right. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, education, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So this is the one that everybody should see.
It's hard to imagine that Hollywood hasn't jumped all over this. You would think it would be box office gold because it's part Spartacus and part Braveheart and part Amistad and part Glory with a little bit of Dances with Wolves thrown in. A story decades long of oppression and freedom fighting. I don't understand why there hasn't been more attention to John Horse and the Black Seminoles, but hopefully we can correct this.
Yeah, I just had to show that because they did a good. This is Learn Liberty. I guess she might be a part of this. I don't know, or somebody else did this, but they did a good piece on Chief John Horse. This one was just 9 minutes, so shout out to them for that. So this should be on the big screen. So yeah. Yep, he didn't take no shit. When is the language class starting? Well, you want to get with your tribal nation and go to some of the classes. I know like the Jalagi, Salagi, the Cherokee, they have language classes. So Mama Speaks 1123. What tribal nations are in your bloodline? You can just look up and see, do they have language classes? That's what I would do if I were you. Yeah, just look on your tribal nations website and see if they offer language classes. And then somebody on YouTube is probably doing some language classes. So what?
Wait, what happened?
Nah, this person, she was saying a comment, and this comment may be derogatory. And I got my finger ready. Let's see. Are you coming in peace? Mama Speaks 1123.
Wait, what was the comment?
Isn't the I don't even want to read it. Let's see. Okay. 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 Are you in reference to those are you being because you saying yes that you come in peace, but that could be misconstrued like a
What she
negative.
talking about? She talking about the birth spot? That's what she talking about? The birth spot?
Hopefully she is. But you want to look at your genealogy and go by the oral tradition stories of your parents,
Yeah,
grandparents.
you gonna need more than the spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
but
that spot don't tell you what tribe you from. You know what I'm saying?
you need to get with your elders of your family and find out what the oral tradition stories are of your family and do your genealogy. Then you can see who you descended from. So, anybody else got any comments or question? She said her people are from Tallahassee. Have you done your
Okay.
genealogy? Yeah, look up your ancestors' names, your grandparents on back to see you've been doing research. Okay. Yeah, they got free sites for that, like Family Search is free. You can look up your ancestors' names and then compare them to all the roles, not just the Dow's roles, it's other roles. Yeah, they have a list of the roles on the Oklahoma Historical Society site. So you can go to this site. You said you've been researching. Have you been on this site where you go to genealogy? And then these are some of the roles. American Indian ancestry. You want to look at these roles. And it's more than this. Because they do focus on the Dow's roles, but it's other roles. The Gilliam Miller roles, the Baker roles, etc. Well, since y'all quiet tonight, we just wanted to, chop it up with y'all today. This is a Sunday panel discussion day.
Oh, she said she met me last year at the Green Con.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
I see now. No, I'm gonna pull up some rows. Because that didn't really list the rows.
I've been trying to pull up my laptop since we started. For some reason, my laptop don't want to pull up
Mhm.
the link. That's crazy.
Okay, so this just gives you this just gives you like the Dow's Rose, the Gillian Miller Rose, the Baker Rose, Indian Census Rose, California Indian Judgment Rose, the Henderson Rose, the Chapman Rose. So you can look up your ancestors on these too. Mama Speaks.
Yeah, I read when she said that. But you know how many people I meet, I gotta see how you look. Yeah,
Yeah,
I meet,
there's no
yeah,
picture.
yeah, I meet a lot of people.
And this is, she said she wants to find out more about the tribes in South Carolina. This is Stone Gang 21. Anybody else got any last minute questions or comments? Because this is just, this is just
Yeah, genealogy is key. You got to sit down and do your investigation. It takes time. You
mm-hmm,
know,
I do.
everything just ain't gonna pop up all fast like instant grits.
Well, for some people, yes, but not all people. I would say the majority of people know. You, you can just Google tribes from South Carolina, and it should have some book recommendations for that. Um, Not only South Carolina, but you can look at all the Southeastern tribes. Because once you do your genealogy and you keep going back, your ancestors, some of them may not have started in South Carolina. They may have moved there. So you want to keep
Right.
going back to see like, the path of how they got there. Where were they at before that? or their parents from, etc. Let's see. Here we are. Here's one. It says Encyclopedia of South Carolina Indians. This is $99. So it's an encyclopedia. Something's going on with Pa's device. So do you have a genealogy library where you live? You can go there. We have one where I live. You good?
Yeah, I was switching over.
Yeah, okay.
Laptop. Yeah, my laptop finally came up.
Yeah, you can go to a genealogy library. I don't know if you have one near you. We have one where I live. They have a lot of good books. And they also have, like, I know the one where I live, they have like different seminars and classes to help you track your genealogy. Okay, you have ancestry.com. Okay. Yeah, it's a lot of information on there. Because even in the genealogy library, they have physical books and then they have computers in there with that Fold 3, Ancestry, and some other like genealogy search websites and engines or whatever. Um,
Well, one thing I can say about Ancestry.com, like if you have like your mother's and your father's birthday and their parents' birthday and that day and everything, Ancestry.com do go and pick up information, and they have things that's with a leaf that'll pop up, show that you actually have a family tree clue, and then you also have another part where they tell you that you can click on too, and then also if you want a genealogist to help you, they even actually have that where you can click on that, but to hire a genealogist costs some money on there.
yeah.
So it's best for you to sit down there and play that, um, play like it's a video game and go through ancestor by ancestor. Um, I always say on the Blog Talk Radio show when I had it, because I was actually the first to tell people how to go by digging up their genealogy is by going into that family Bible and see the information that's in there and with the obituaries and everything, you know.
Yeah,
And
my
then
family
and
has
then
some stuff in their family Bible too.
and then because what most people don't know is the people in them didn't want to do no rolls, they didn't want to do no U.S. census, so they kept records in their Bible because they know people that was would be discriminatory against them. So the information that was in the Bible was deemed municipal in the court of law. You know what I'm saying? And before they even had birth certificates, people were putting information in the family Bible. And then I said the last thing that you want to deal with and you want to deal with that with with a grain of salt. Take that with a grain of salt is the U.S. Census because, like in the 1800s, the later part of 1800s, if your people wasn't on the Indian reservation, even though your family and them told them they was Indian and everything, but then the home, the assessor actually put who they was, but when they got out the sight of the family members, they would put them as free people of color or mulatto or colored. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
didn't stay on the reservation, that's what they labeled your family as free people of color or mulatto. Um, so yeah, that's what they did. So I gathered that was some of the family oral traditions that that he was kidnapped. But when they told you this, did they tell you what kind of person he was? Like, was he an Aboriginal or was he a descendant of another nation or anything?
Yeah, did they say what kind of tribe he was from?
And that's another thing that I have to let people know because I see people that's TikTokers and stuff, and they were like, "Oh, your grandmother lied. Your grandmother lied." It's like people grandmother don't have no reason to lie because what people fail to realize is that dealing with the transatlantic slave trade, that was dealing with a business. And so, with that being said, that means that those who participated in the demise of other people, they had to write what they were. What I mean by that, because they had to have an inventory stock, right? They had to know what kind of person they had. It's like they had to say that they had um four people from Guinea. You know what I'm saying? So they actually told you what these people were, and then down here in Louisiana, they was very specific about the slaves that they had. They say that they had people from different tribes from over there, from which became known as the continent of Africa. You know what I'm saying? So they let them know, and then even when they resold the person, they say, "Well, I'm selling off this person that was a Senegalese, or this person that was from, you know, um, that was from the Kizzy." You know what I'm saying? Things like that. So the people in them always knew who they had as slaves. Don't let nobody tell you different. I mean, you can actually go look it up. Um, there's this plantation, well, one of the plantations down here in New Orleans that's famous and everything is called the Whitney Plantation. Dealing with the Whitney Plantation, they kept a superb data on the slaves that they
Yeah, they did. Even um, the book that I was reading about Jack Forbes when he was talking about the Negro Indians and the use of the term Negro, it had some examples of in those advertisements they would say Negro Indian, dark, has straight hair, or he speaks the language, and they had all those different descriptions when they was advertising the slavery in some areas.
had. So yeah, so if they was on the plantation as slaves, they wrote, even within the movie, people don't like it because of Alex Haley, but even within that movie, you know, the slave master knew what kind of slaves they had, what part of Africa they came from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if they came from there.
Right. And like you got people talking about, oh, there was no, there was no Negro Indians. Well, Spanish records in them showed that it did. French records showed that they did. The Dutch and the English records showed that they did. So
Mhm.
I don't even much argue with nobody. Let them go argue with their mom and their pa about this shit.
Yeah, they need to just be worried about their genealogy and not try to debate somebody else's genealogy.
Because they got one clown talking about, oh, the Negro de Terra, they wasn't Negroes. Well, if they wasn't Negroes, then the Spanish would never call them that. They would never call them Negro de Terra if they wasn't Negroes. Same way they would never say Negro de Guinea if they wasn't Negroes. They would let you know that they had Negroes from over there in Africa and Negroes over here in the Americas. But the dude, he didn't much know the doggone 8 parts of speech. So I mean, but you trying to debate somebody, they can go re-educate yourself. But anyway,
All
because
right. Yeah,
Anthony, you know what I'm talking about.
yeah, that that will go for a long time. Um, yeah, like this is talking about in any case, an between Negro and slave, and they use terms like Negro or other slaves, Negro, mulatto, and Indian slaves. It says Negro and Black both became synonymous with enslavement later, but at first it goes on to say, I was trying to find the part um, that was talking about the Negro de Terra. But based off of skin color, they have they labeled a couple of, it was like two tribes that they mentioned in here. They reclassified them as black, Negro, because of their
dealing
complexion.
deal, Dealing with the slave acts of Virginia and South Carolina, they relabel a whole lot of indigenous people in those states as Negroes, even in Louisiana. So now, what's happening, cousin Algernon? So now, what happens is it's like this, right? When you look at the way they say that the population of the Negroes, like, automatically um increased. Well, how did it increase? Because they started calling the dark skinned Indians Negroes. So now
Exactly.
the Negro population increased, right? Go back and look at it when they said how many Negroes that they had in certain states and everything in the city of those states. Just like in Louisiana, they said that the Negro population like skyrocket out because they labeled the Indians as Negroes. That's how that happened. And then within the so-called slave schools, they jumbled everybody in together. So
Right.
if the people look like Negroes, how do you lump them into the slave codes of Virginia, South Carolina, Louisiana? But people don't like to look at that and look at it with a critical mindset. You know what I'm saying? And
Right. Like
yes, those Indians and them had admixtures after after dealing with the 1700s. But before that, they was already called Negroes before the transatlantic slave trade even fucking happened.
peace, cousin Al. Is your mic muted?
Can you hear me?
Now I
Yeah,
can
we can
hear
hear you, cousin Algeron. What's happening?
I'm just catching in on y'all show.
it. All right. Well, peace to you.
Peace to you too.
Happy Gregorian New Year's to you.
Yes.
Same y'all. How was y'all New Year's?
It's peaceful.
It was cooling. It was cooling. And matter of fact, is speaking about that, cousin Elgeron actually pulled up the information about John Amos, who was a full-blooded Choctaw, but they reclassified him as a Negro. Can you speak on that, cousin Elgeron?
Yeah. Well, if you pull up the court case, he had to go through a lot of stuff. Even still to this day, they're still trying to counteract that lawsuit.
That's sad.
Yeah.
I remember you talked about that when you were a special guest on our podcast. Yeah, I can look up that one. It was like a year ago.
Yeah.
That's just
Mm-hmm.
like
But even in this case, he had to go around the five civilized tribes and basically sue the state that the treaty was with.
okay.
So he ended up getting like almost 400 acres.
Yeah, I remember you
Yeah,
reading about
in
that.
Mississippi.
Yeah, that's what's up. He got something.
Yeah. But still to this day, they mad about that. But he wasn't the only one. It happened to a lot of them, especially the Choctaws that was on the McKinney Road, identified. You ever heard of them roads?
Yes, the McKinney Road. Yeah,
Kenny, a lot of them that was on that road, they did like that.
yeah. Like this excerpt in this book is saying in 1715 to 1717 period of vestry book of King William's Parish, Virginia. Records 1 year say Robin is an Indian. 2 years later, Robin is a Negro. In a similar manner, 1691 list of Negro slaves in York County, Virginia includes Kate, an Indian, while a 1728 list of Negroes at the home house of a Virginia planter includes Indian Robin. Robin, incidentally, is a common name for slaves of American ancestry. In 1748, there was an advertisement in New York for a Negro man servant called Robin, almost of the complexion of an Indian, talks good English, can read and write, and plays on the fiddle. In 1723, Virginia adopted a law depriving free Negroes, mulattoes, and Indians of certain basic civil rights. The act was disallowed by British officials, but in 1735, Lieutenant Governor Gooch defended it by asserting that he wanted to make a perpetual brand upon free Negroes and mulattoes by excluding them from that great privilege of a free man. He wanted to make the free Negroes sensible that a distinction ought to be made between their offspring and the descendants of an Englishman, with whom they never were to be accounted equal. Since the act applied to Native Americans and half Americans, which is mulattoes, Gooch's language would seem to include them under the general category of free Negroes and mulattoes. And I wanted to read that because that supported what we talked about earlier.
Yeah. You go through a lot of our genealogy, you find mulatto, Negro, colored, and also the same people be labeled as white.
Yes.
There's only one time I found where they had it says nationality native race Negro.
Okay. Love Nia Raspberry. Are you talking about the Creeks that got recognition, the dark skinned Creeks, or are you talking about the Lumdi? Because she asked, could we speak on the tribe that just received recognition? So I'm asking her, or she talking about the Creeks?
She must be talking about the Lumbee.
Or the Lumdi?
She must be talking about the Lumbee.
Yeah, she didn't specify, so I was trying to figure out. Okay, the Lumdi. She just. Yeah, I'm not a part of that nation, so I just know that they got recognition. So
Yeah.
I know more about the Creeks because my great grandmother told me that we had Creek in our family. So, but I don't know much about the Lumbee tribe. The Lumbee tribe. I know that they exist, but I don't know, the details.
Ain't they part of the Cherokee?
Lumbee, I'm looking it up. Lumbee Indians. This is talking about they saying they have mixed heritage. The Lumbees, Siouan, Algonquin, and Iroquois. And they intermarry with black and whites, huh?
A lot of them have Melungeon ancestors.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people do. I have Melungeon ancestry. The average person that has admixtures do.
They try to say that they mix so much they mixed up out their culture and their language. I don't understand how, but they try to say they don't have a language.
Mm-mm.
No, that's what the other federal recognized tribes are mad about it. They try to say the Lumbee don't have a language or a culture, and they other tribes.
Yeah, this overview is saying that the Lumbee Indians in North Carolina navigated complex racial segregation by strategically asserting a distinct identity, often by claiming Cherokee or Sioux status to gain recognition and resources, while simultaneously dealing with the state and federal policies that define them, ambiguously forcing them to adapt through political maneuvering, community building, and asserting kinship and place as markers of their unique nationhood against white supremacist structures. They have a mixed heritage. Some of them, it says Sioux, Algonquin, Iroquois. Intermarriage with black and white populations made them difficult to classify under the rigid Jim Crow racial categories. White segregationists often denied their Indian identity, while federal policymakers struggle to categorize them, sometimes sometimes requiring Indian blood or the absence of black blood for recognition. And what they mean is Negro Indian, but the misnomer black. They are saying that their identity is viewed as inconsistent, hindering their path of self-determination and full recognition. It says some of the Lumdees, they identify with Cherokee of Robeson County or Siouan.
So do the Lumberjacks speak Cherokee, or they just speak straight up English?
They aligned with these. I don't want to assume anything, but they tried to get in these other tribes. Maybe they had other family members that were part of the Cherokee or the Sioux.
Yeah.
Okay, so it says the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina achieved a major victory December 2025, gaining full federal recognition after Trump signed a National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, containing the Lumbee Fairness Act, culminating a 137-year struggle for acknowledgement and access to federal benefits like healthcare, education, and infrastructure programs. This landmark recognition makes them the 575th federally recognized tribe, opening doors to essential resources, though it followed decades of efforts and opposition from other tribes questioning their lineage, highlighting their growing political influence and identity journey. So they had to fight a long time for this, but they just got their recognition in December 2025. And on the other hand of this, we can speak on the Creek recognition. Primarily refers to the ongoing decades-long struggle of Negro Creeks, and they called them a misnomer freedmen, but they were Creeks. They were dark-skinned Creeks. Now, some people may have admixtures, but it says for full tribal citizenship, within federally recognized Muskogee Creek Nation, based on the 1866 treaty that granted them citizenship rights after slavery ended in the nation. Despite a historic 2025 Oklahoma Supreme Court ruling affirming these rights, the fight for implementation continues. So they based it off of this 1866 treaty, to say that they have the rights. They have the rights to tribal
That's
citizenship.
not the first time that the federal government or the court didn't order the Creek Nation to accept them.
Right.
First go around, and still, even though they won that whatever they supposed to have won, the Creek Nation still not accepting them. Only nation that's really so-called accepting their freedmen as equal citizens is the Cherokee Nation.
Right. Yes, they do. And it's saying that the fight for implementation of this court ruling, this Supreme Court ruling, is still going on. It says it's highlighting complex issues of tribal sovereignty, treaty obligation, and historical injustice. So they fighting it. It seems like they got a good lawyer. That dude, I forgot his name. and he's a Negro Indian. He's a dark-skinned Creek, and he was talking about, getting his citizenship and what he had to go through, and then helping the dark-skinned Creeks get their rights and citizenship. So yeah, they got to struggle, but today, in today's times, they gon' put up a fight. Like, we got our rights. They gonna demand stuff now that they got this, because nowadays people ain't taking no shit. They like, okay, we got a Supreme Court ruling. No, we have rights, etc. So you gonna recognize that. So I don't think they just gonna lie down and let them do that. They are continuing to fight. Yeah, it says in 2025, the Muskogee Nation Supreme Court ruled that Black Creeks are citizens. A significant win for descendants like Aranda Grayson and Jeff Kennedy, whose cases pushed the issue forward. So, and we did cover this too when they did get their recognition. Yeah. Well, you have any last comments or words, Cousin Al?
Are y'all about to close up the show? I wish I was calling in earlier.
That's okay. We had planned to be on here for an hour because Pa got to get up early to go to work.
I'm good. We can go a little bit longer. I'm good.
Yeah, okay. Because you was
I'm
quiet. I
good.
was like,
I'm good.
quiet over there.
But this my personal take on it. And if y'all ever saw the show that we did called The Pros and Cons of Being Federal Recognized, me personally, um, I don't see why people need to be federal recognized to know who they are. You have people that say, "Oh, if you're not federal recognized, you're not an Indian." But wait, hold on, I thought you was an Indian before federal recognition. You know what I'm saying? So, and then you have people that are federal recognized, but they still be treated like a stepchild of the great white father. You know what I'm saying? You know, because you have certain nations that federal recognized, but they have their water problems that's worse than what's happening over there in Michigan. You know what I'm saying? So, and then when they say, well, the federal government is supposed to deal with this issue, and they were like, oh no, it's supposed to be the state. So the federal trying to push it off on the state, but the state say no. But they got federal recognition through y'all. Why y'all not take care of their situation about them not having no water? Water's supposed to be life, but these people don't even much have no water. And they try to say it's on the state. And the state, like, nah, that's not on us. They're federally recognized. So it's like, the pros and cons, you know what I'm saying? And then you got people who talk about, oh, well, I get to go to the clinic. But yeah, you get to go to the clinic, but yet you have other people that go to the clinic and have the same benefits. They're just not Indians. You know what I'm saying? Like what it is that you have that's supposed to be so grandeur that makes you want to be federal recognized. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, shit, their stuff is only good in they damn in their territory. The web insurance and medical stuff, they only can really use it in their territory unless they have some kind of satellite clinic or something. They branch off of them.
Right.
So it ain't really good by being no federal recognized.
It is truly pros and cons to it.
And then they talking about, oh, y'all this and y'all that, but okay, you federal recognized, but yet you don't own your own land. But yet you have people who not of a tribal nation, but their family and them have land grants and land deeds and land titles. You know what I'm saying? You know, they owners of their land, but can you say y'all own your land? No, because your land is in the trust. But people that got land patents and stuff, they own their land. They
Right,
own their land.
right.
You federal recognized, but you can't say you own your land because your land is held in trust. And my thing is this: if you're a sovereign nation, why you don't have your own land in trust? Because you can't do that because you federally recognized. If you wasn't federal recognized, then you probably could have put your land in trust, but you can't. You can't. So y'all be talking about, oh, y'all want to be like us. No, the fuck we don't. My family got land patents. We own our land. Y'all don't. But hey, I'm not gonna go ahead on it because y'all want to take that route and want the, y'all want the white father to recognize you. And, you got people in them that's a number to their government. What's your government number? You're a GI, which is a government Indian now. And they talking about, oh, we not wards. Oh, yes, the fuck you are. You know? Because anytime you have to have a custodian is considered a custodian over a ward. But
Yeah,
hey,
right.
you don't want to look at it like that, but y'all, they just trying to put it polite and say, oh, we just your custodian. Well, if they're your custodian, if the United States government is your custodian, that means you a ward. Don't get mad with me. Fuck. Get mad at the legalese. Y'all chose to do that.
Well, it said that the government was an overseer over them. So even though that is their tribal land, the overseer can come in and at any time.
But you see, once the Lumbee got their recognition, they had to close their enrollment.
They did
Oh
what?
yeah. They
Yeah,
had to
once
close
they
their
got their
enrollment.
recognition, they had to close their enrollment. That
Well,
means
they need to
that means
a
you can't
lawyer
just
need
go be
to
a part
step
of that
up.
stuff now. It's gonna have criteria.
Their lawyer needs to step that up. Um
The,
that lawyer
the,
needs to step up.
the lawyer can't do nothing about it. what great white father said to do, you gotta do it. Or else you will be disborn from the family of being a government Indian.
Yeah,
A
and
GI.
you can lose your recognition.
Yes, they
Yeah,
can.
we read about that. That is just messed up.
So if they don't abide by them rules, they can't lose their shit. So
Because the Cherokee was threatened with it. The Seminole Nation was threatened with it. The Creek Nation was threatened with it. Yo, if you don't do this, we're gonna do this. Oh, all right, y'all can go ahead on and be recognized as citizens of our nation now. Yo, because
Yeah, 'cause that's how it's supposed
they
to
was gonna
be.
cut their funding. Mm-hmm.
ask me, it's a lot of more cons than pros. Right.
Right, right. There's more cons than pros, and they're being conned by the cons. All your mineral rights, all your land rights, everything belongs.
Hunting rights, all that. Even on the reservation, they try to tell me where they can hunt and can't hunt and all that.
or
Right.
fish or trap. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why we can't go fishing over there, Daddy? Because I say so.
like Papa said so.
Can I cut down that tree? No. Why? Because you didn't ask um, the Bureau of Land Management to do that. They got to come in and do it. Yeah,
Gotta get your hunting and fishing license.
right.
Yeah. Just don't know. But they get that federal recognized, they sign up for some shit.
Yep, they lose their autonomy.
They really lose their sovereignty, ass people.
Right.
Yeah, the it says the pros of federal recognition, sovereignty, and self-government establish inherent rights to self-govern, forming tribal governments with powers distinct from state local governments. Land in trust allows lands to be held in trust by the federal government, protecting them from seizure, a critical safeguard absent for non-recognized tribes, say the Milwaukee Public Museum and the Indian website, if you want to look into that. Federal benefits and services, eligibility for crucial programs in health, the IHS, education, BIE, housing and social services, as managed by Indian Affairs Programs and Congress.com. Trust relationship creates a special legal obligation, trust responsibility for the U.S. to protect tribal lands, resources, and status. Explains the Indian Affairs website. Tribal IDs, federally issued IDs are valid at federal buildings, airports, and banks. The cons are difficult recognition process. The Bureau of Indian Affairs requires extensive documentation proving continuous community political authority and identity, a process taking years or decades. Domestic dependent nation status. Tribes are sovereign but within U.S. law, meaning Congress has ultimate authority.
Hmm.
Histor-
Who have authority?
Ultimately,
Who have authority? Who
yeah,
have authority?
Congress has ultimate authority. Historically,
Ultimate authority, not some
yeah,
ultimate.
right. Historically leading to forced land loss and restrictions, according to the Muwekma Ohlone tribe blog. So they did report that, I guess. Financial dependence, reliance on federal funds, and limited ability to levy traditional taxes can hinder economic self sufficiency and bureaucracy and oversight. The trust relationship brings federal oversight with agencies like the BIA managing resources, which can feel intrusive.
You know what? They should feel played. And I'm gonna be messy. I'm gonna be messy. I'm gonna be messy right now. Look, look. They give Israel more money than they give them. They give Israel more money than they give them, and they're supposed to be the children of the United States. But yet the United States give more money to Israel than they even give it to all the doggone 575 tribes. Ain't that some shit?
It's crazy.
Wow. And Mama Speak, you actually answered your own question when you said what about Sarah Oil when they why they became a guardian over Sarah. Yay.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. Yeah,
Yep.
you answer your own question.
Yep. It's a lot of it's pros and cons. The cons are big though.
The cons outweigh the pros.
And only one of the 5 tribes have a seat up in Congress, and that's the Cherokee Nation.
Now, why the other nations don't have a seat? Why the other nations don't have a seat in Congress? You got to ask yourself that question. What's really going on? Well, they hate me. I know they hate me, but I don't care. The truth is the truth. As the old folks say, tell the truth and shame the devil.
Yep. But it's really it's a challenge, it's a struggle for them to look at that. Like, do we get in bed with them or do we not? I mean, that's the $1 million question.
Well, the question is, if you're getting in the bed with them, who's doing the fucking?
Yeah, hey, who on top and who on bottom, huh?
Right.
I knew you were going to say that. That's why I said that.
Oh, shit. Somebody coming out with a wet ass for no reason. Oh, wow. God damn. They can't even tell the United States leave the money on the dresser. Ain't that some shit?
United States got a bunch of baby oil up there.
Yes, all right.
Take that.
Yes, so wrong.
I told you we won't stop.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Boy, what did they do to themselves?
And some of the tribal members, they do hate that they have to deal with them. I mean, they don't, a lot of them are not vocal about it, but they do hate that they have to deal with them because they should be autonomous, just autonomous and have your own everything, autonomous. Instead of answer to someone.
Well, they show where on TikTok, the lady, she was like in her 80s, and she said, "Oh yeah," he said, "Ma," he said, "Y'all federally recognized." She said, "Yeah, bring me my money." That's the first thing she said. I said, that don't sound like no pimp and whole prostitution shit right there.
It's really sad.
I told you, 2026, we in the mix. Oh boy. Hey, don't get mad at us. Be mad at yourself. Be mad at your ancestors. You know, and then you got to really think about it, right? Think about the ancestors who didn't want to deal with federal recognition. Like, don't you go ahead on and do that with the white people. Don't you do that. Don't you dare become federal recognized. But the people who knew, they went against it. The red sticks, the red sticks was like, man, fuck that. We go get it out the mud. The white sticks was like, okay, we do a treaty with y'all.
You know, that's why a lot of us got labor as freedmen too.
Mm-hmm.
Want to get federally recognized and all that shit.
So then you gotta look at, you gotta put yourself in their position. Yes, we know the cons are heavy. We know that, but some people, they see it as they want the recognition because the government runs this shit, so they want to be recognized by the people that run this shit.
No, they want no, because you know what it is.
That
I wouldn't want to be in their position because their position is face down, ass up.
No, I get that. I get I get that, but some of them people they've been fighting for years to get recognition, and they're not looking at the fact that you're already recognized. It's just not on paper, and you don't have a contract with them because they already. I mean, it's books that says it's over 500 tribes, so you're already recognized. You just want to sign the contract. That's a whole nother thing. It's kind of like it's just bad. It's just bad.
Or they sold their soul to the devil.
One could look at it like that, or some people, like family members, been fighting for years to get their recognition. So that is a good triumph for people like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
the triumph of defeat.
yeah, so
I know you're trying to play devil's advocate, but that shit don't work.
no, I'm just saying some people, I mean, that is some people's real life. Like they've been fighting and fighting to get it, and they finally got it, and they feel like they have achieved something, even if it's just, the basic rights.
Yeah, they achieve something all right. They achieve a raw gutting.
Okay, next. Anybody else got any comments or questions? Because we're gonna ride this for the rest of the day.
They received a hard stiff one. God damn. Oh boy. Mm-mm-mm.
Yep, they have to ask permission.
I guess they say damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Yeah, so
Mm-mm-mm.
it's a harsh reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Anybody got any last minute comments or questions? Because we know they gotta ask permission for shit. Definitely.
I guess they ain't want to be like old boy in Venezuela. No, y'all not gonna. We gonna comply. We don't want you to do the Venezuela. Mm-mm-mm. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, don't nobody else got any more comments or questions? We can do our last.
Why the 500? Why the 575 recognized tribes don't come amongst one another and recognize themselves and come together and do things dealing with business and everything to be autonomous and recognize one another?
Yeah.
Without the interview. But you say there'd be too much like right?
Yeah. Yep. That'll be too much like right. I'm trying to get to the thing.
Because they act like they don't know how to govern themselves without the United States being
Shit, they don't.
in it. You know what I'm saying?
Shit, they don't, man. You got the pale skin running their tribal council, getting all the money, and the rest of them is alcoholic or on meth or something, going through problems.
Mm.
And that's the reason why how the Indian Civil Rights Act came about, because like Cuz just said, those that were in position of power within those nations, they was mistreating all the rest of the tribal members, and the tribal members went um to Capitol Hill and was like, look, these people that's over the government are doing things, they embezzling money, they doing all kind of criminal acts and everything. And this is
Yeah, it
why
should
the
never
Indian Civil
stop.
Rights Act came about.
It never stop. You
It
know,
never stopped.
it never stop because
Right,
I ain't tell we got family members that's enrolled in the different nations in Oklahoma, and they don't say nothing good about their councils, and
right.
you know what I'm saying, they government, they getting messed over too, man. They getting messed over and getting brainwashed.
Yeah, that's
Then when
crazy.
they find out a lot of us are related to them by blood, then they be like, man, I can't believe I was being racist to my own cousin.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, it's all a game. The less people they can keep the enrollment, the more money they government they head official have. So
And
they really
somebody would
don't
say
want
it's a lot
people.
of
Yeah, they
politics.
really don't want people enrolling. Yeah, so they
Right.
especially those people that look like us.
You know, it's just like when a loved one died, you got family members and stuff, and it's like, well, what I get from mom or daddy? Well, look, we can cut them out. We get everything.
Yeah, sad.
Hmm. Yep.
They never stop.
It's crazy.
Still to this day, we dealing with the same shit our ancestors deal with. We still dealing with.
Yeah, but not to the extreme.
What
Yeah,
is the next celebrated day for us as a people? You have to you have to be a part of a tribal nation to ask that question. That's not a whole thing. Every nation is different.
Yeah,
right, right.
it's not like the pale skin. You know, you
Right.
have Thanksgiving, Christmas, everybody holiday.
Or the pagan holidays
Yeah.
they call them. But yeah, just find out what tribal nations are in your bloodline, and then look at their celebrations. See what celebrations are important to them.
Right.
All right. Well, I think we can end on that note. We appreciate y'all
So
tuning in
when gonna be the next show?
next Sunday.
Next Sunday on Sundays?
Yes, on Sundays. So
Mm.
we've been doing like we'll do a Sunday panel discussion where we will have something like this, and then I get a day, and the Empire gets a day. We take turns, and then we have a collective day, which is our Sunday panel discussion. So yep, and it's on Sundays is our day.
So peace and love to everybody on here that's in the chat that's listening in.
Yeah, yeah, we appreciate y'all. Wado Yakuni Industry to everybody who will stop by later. Uh, we appreciate y'all. Our moderators in the building, Lashonda and Al came on as a special guest tonight. So we appreciate y'all.
Oh, for sure.
Well, y'all have a good night and peace to everybody.
All right, everybody be safe.
Y'all have a good one, everybody.
Have a good one.
Peace. Peace. Peace.
Peace.